You are in your 30s. You are holding XRP or XLM or both, and somewhere in the back of your mind, you are operating on the assumption that when the price moves, when the thesis resolves, when the wealth transfer that you have been positioning for finally happens, your life is going to change. Here is what nobody tells you. The price moving is not what changes your life. You changing is what changes your life. And when you see the actual math of what those decisions cost you, not in dollars, but in XRP and XLM tokens that you will never own because the money went somewhere else, the gap stops being abstract and starts being a number you will not be able to forget. Let us build that number from the ground up. The daily leak, $5 a day. You already know what this is: the coffee you buy on the way to work, the convenience store stop, the delivery fee on the lunch you could have made. $5 a day does not feel like a financial decision. It feels like a rounding error. It is the cost of being a person who lives in the world and moves through it with some small degree of comfort. Here is what $5 a day actually is when translated into XRP at $1.40. $5 buys 3.57 XRP per day. In 1 week, 25 XRP. In 1 month, 107 XRP. In 1 year, 1,310 XRP. At $5, which is the moderate analyst consensus for XRP in a Clarity Act passage scenario, 1,310 XRP is worth $6,550 from a daily habit that felt like nothing. Now run the same math for XLM at 16 cents. $5 a day buys 31 XLM. In 1 week, 218 XLM. In 1 month, 938 XLM. In 1 year, 11,250 XLM. At 81 cents, the moderate XLM cycle target, 11,250 XLM is worth $9,112 from $5 a day that you spent on coffee and convenience and did not think about twice. The $5 daily leak is not a small number. It is 1,310 XRP or 11,250 XLM per year, sitting in the middle of what may be one of the most asymmetric accumulation windows in either asset's history that you chose to drink instead. This is not about the coffee. This is about what the coffee represents in the context of what you are trying to build. The coffee is a symbol. The symbol is a pattern, and the pattern run forward across 1 year of a market cycle that the documented analyst frameworks suggest is approaching an inflection point produces a number that will feel real and uncomfortable in hindsight. The medium monthly leak, $100 to $500 per month. This is where it gets genuinely expensive, and where most people in this community are bleeding without realizing it, because the medium leaks feel justified in isolation. Each one has a reason. Together, they represent the systematic underfunding of the position you believe in. Streaming and subscription services. The average American household carries between $240 and $270 per month in subscription services, according to documented spending research. This includes the streaming platforms you cycle between, the software subscriptions you forget to cancel, the gym membership you use twice a month, the news platform you scroll once a week, the cloud storage tier you upgraded and never needed. $250 per month at $1.40 per XRP is 178 XRP every single month that you are not accumulating. Over 12 months, that's 2,143 XRP. At $5, that's $10,715 in unrealized future value, paid out in monthly installments to services you barely remember subscribing to. Eating out beyond the baseline. Research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics consistently shows that the average American in their 30s spends approximately $3,400 to $4,000 per year on restaurants and food away from home beyond what cooking at home would cost. Call it $200 per month in the conservative middle. $200 per month at 16 cents per XLM is 1,250 XLM per month. Over 12 months, 15,000 XLM. At 81 cents, that's $12,150. The restaurants are not the problem. The pattern of spending at restaurants as a default rather than a choice is the problem. The person who eats out because they genuinely want the experience and planned for it is making a different decision from the person who eats out because they didn't plan anything else. One is a choice. One is a leak. The leak costs you 15,000 XLM per year. The car you didn't need to upgrade yet. This is the medium leak that does most of the damage in the 30s because it is the largest in dollar terms and the most socially reinforced. The average monthly car payment in the United States as of 2025 was approximately $735 for a new vehicle. If you were making a car payment on a vehicle you financed because you wanted something newer rather than because your previous vehicle was non-functional, you are paying for a depreciating asset with money that could be accumulating in an appreciating one. $735 per month at $1.40 is 525 XRP per month. Over 12 months, 6,300 XRP. At $5, $31,500. That's the cost of the car upgrade in XRP terms over a single 12-month accumulation window. Not the total cost of the car, just the cost of the monthly payment as XRP you did not buy. The upgrade that didn't need to happen yet. New phone on a payment plan when the previous one worked. New furniture because the apartment was getting stale. New wardrobe after a job change. Each of these individually sounds reasonable. Collectively, they represent the lifestyle inflation that accelerates in the 30s as income rises and social comparison pressure intensifies. Intuit's December 2025 survey of 2,000 consumers found that 77% of respondents admit it's challenging to curb social spending. That challenge is not a character flaw. It's the result of living in an environment that constantly generates justifications for spending. The person who understands that every dollar currently spent on lifestyle upgrades they didn't truly need is a dollar not in their XRP or XLM position, is not depriving themselves. They are making an informed decision about which version of their future they are funding with each transaction. The debt trap, the invisible monthly drain. Here is the thing that all of the spending leaks above have in common with consumer debt. They are all forms of the same fundamental error, which is spending future purchasing power on present consumption before the investment thesis had the opportunity to resolve. Consumer debt is the most expensive version of this error because the debt itself is compounding against you while you try to accumulate. The average credit card APR in the United States as of 2025 was approximately 22% APR. If you are carrying $5,000 in credit card debt at 22% APR, you are paying approximately $91 per month in pure interest, money that produces nothing for you, generates no assets, builds nothing, and exists only because a past spending decision has not been fully reconciled. $91 per month at 16 cents per XLM is 569 XLM you are not accumulating. Over 12 months, 6,825 XLM that went to the credit card company in interest payments alone. The debt creates a second, less visible problem beyond the monthly interest payment. It creates psychological pressure that directly affects the quality of your decisions as an investor. Research from the National Academy of Sciences documented a 25 percentage point reduction in diagnosable anxiety symptoms following complete debt elimination. The person carrying consumer debt alongside a volatile crypto position is managing two sources of financial stress simultaneously.
The cortisol that chronic financial stress produces impairs the prefrontal cortex function responsible for long-term planning and impulse control. The person who is financially stressed is measurably less capable of executing a pre-planned exit strategy calmly than the person who has eliminated the debt that was generating that stress. The debt does not just cost you monthly interest, it costs you the decision quality you will need when the price moves. The order of operations that the math demands is uncomfortable to state directly, but necessary to understand. If you are carrying high-interest consumer debt and simultaneously accumulating XRP and XLM, you are paying 22% per year on one side of your balance sheet while hoping for asymmetric returns on the other. The asymmetric returns of XRP and XLM over a full cycle may well outperform the 22% drag of the debt, but they may not. And the person who eliminated the debt first and then accumulated had a better risk-adjusted position than the person who tried to do
both simultaneously while the debt compounded against them every month. Now let us assemble the full picture, because the individual numbers above become genuinely clarifying when you see them together. $5 daily on convenience and coffee, 1,310 XRP per year not accumulated. $40 per month subscription audit, 300 XRP per month recovered, $200 per month restaurant overspend versus cooking at home more intentionally, 1,250 XLM per month recovered, car payment on a vehicle that was a lifestyle upgrade rather than a necessity, 525 XRP per month redirected, $91 monthly in credit card interest eliminated by aggressively paying down the balance, 569 XLM per month recovered. The total across these categories is not a marginal number. It is the difference between someone who is accumulating XRP and XLM as a background habit while their actual financial decisions work against the position, and someone who has aligned their daily and monthly spending architecture to compound alongside the position rather than against it. The XRP and XLM thesis requires time. The documented analyst frameworks for the full cycle resolution run across 2026 to 2028. That is the accumulation window. Every month inside that window that your spending leaks, medium monthly drains, and consumer debt interest payments are competing with your accumulation is a month where you are funding the past at the expense of the future you are positioned for. The question is not whether you believe in XRP and XLM. You already answered that question by holding. The question is whether the daily and weekly decisions you are making with the money that does not go into your position are aligned with the conviction of the position you are holding. Because your spending habits and your crypto thesis are not two separate conversations. They are the same conversation, and the math above is what it costs when they are not in alignment. Not financial advice. All price targets cited are documented analyst projections, not guarantees. Spending comparison math uses current prices as of April 30th, 2026, XRP at $1.40 and XLM at 16 cents. If this video showed you a number you will not be able to unsee, hit the like button right now. Subscribe for the accumulation strategy, the market analysis, and the frameworks that connect your daily decisions to your long-term position. Your comment question this week: which of the spending leaks in this video is the one that hits closest to home for you right now? The daily $5 habit, the subscription pile, the restaurant default, the car payment, the credit card interest? Drop it below honestly. No judgment, just the number. Stay aligned. Stay accumulating. Every dollar that does not go somewhere else goes here.